Hey, it's Dr. Ron here, and today I'd like to talk about a topic that I've resisted talking about for a while, namely the obesity epidemic. Uh, in 2020, about 39% of the world's population met the definition of obesity, which is greater than a body mass index that's greater than 30. We're doing even worse, those of us who live in the United States, because 42% of the population measures or registers as obese. Now, as I said, I've resisted dealing with it for quite a while because, number one, I don't like to do something that would imply shaming of any particular body type or anything else, particularly since people acquire habits or may have been taught some things that you just kind of evolved with as opposed to making a conscious decision to be obese. The uh, whole issue, though, is one that I think has to be couched in health terms. There are a number of diseases that really are related to obesity, and that can be anything from heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, gout, some of the breathing problems that contribute to sleep apnea, and there are a number of others. It also contributes to some psychological issues because despite the fact that almost half the population is obese, society doesn't really reward that. That's not the ideal thing. And while we can get into an issue of why that should be the case, the fact is that it's not rare to have both obesity and some self-dislike issues that are, uncomfortable from a psychological standpoint. Now, people will undoubtedly uh, be kind of shocked by the next statement or disagree with it, but I think that weight control is a relatively easy thing to accomplish because it's totally dependent on what we do as individuals. It doesn't require some feedback from others. It doesn't require others to buy into our program. It becomes a matter of what can we do to control obesity. Now, let's look at some specific behaviors because I think that that's real important. Uh, let me give you a spoiler alert. You don't become obese by exercising too much, and you don't become obese by eating too little. Uh, so let's start looking at what specific behaviors lead to uh, managing to deal with obesity and also overweight, which is still not healthy, but not as far along. Again, it's generally a body weight of uh, a body mass index of 25 to 30, but that certainly at the lower ranges, that may be a function of body type, bone structure, and so on. So I'm most concerned with the people who are significantly overweight and obese. So I like to think in terms of the acronym EASY, or a misspelling of the word easy. It's EESI. And I think certain specific behaviors can help to maintain weight control. And again, these are not dependent on other people. These behaviors are dependent on how you manage your own lifestyle. So the first E stands for eating healthy. I don't like the word diet because it implies either a specific type of diet or self deprivation in some way and so on. That's not what I'm about. I think that we have enough guidelines relative to how to eat healthy. There are various uh, diet type things, Mediterranean diet and others, that offer a variety of ways in which we can eat healthy without denying ourselves things. It's almost impossible to eat too many vegetables and fruit uh, and not stop on your own. So there's a lot of great knowledge out there about a plant forward diet. There are plant-based diets, but for those of us who aren't vegetarians or vegans, favoring plant-based foods, but not exclusively sticking to it is kind of a healthy way to go, particularly if you are trying to change some habits. So again, I'm not a nutritionist, but there's a lot of advice out there on how to eat healthy. Second thing is exercise. Regular, rational exercise combined with healthy eating almost always helps with the maintenance of proper weight. So eating healthy, exercise. The third one is sleep. Now this may seem funny because you're being pretty passive when you sleep, but your brain is doing some reparative things, and it doesn't take a lot of imagination to recognize that a person who gets 5 hours of sleep is up for about 3 more hours than a person who gets 8 hours of sleep. And during those 3 hours, that gives you more opportunity to go to the kitchen, more opportunity to eat. So, being able to get adequate sleep is not only great for your body and your brain from restorative point of view, but also it's good from a physical health, weight maintenance point of view. And again, cheating a little bit with my use of letters, but the final letter in EASY is I, which stands for leading an interesting life. The more that you lead an interesting life, the less tempted you are to spend time in the kitchen, to be bored, to do stress eating, things of that nature. Active people who are active with their bodies and their minds tend to have a better chance of controlling their weight. So again, not interested in body shaming, not interested in pointing fingers, but I am interested in health. And so if you can keep the EASY acronym in mind and think in terms of what behavior changes can you make, because weight control is totally up to you. You can't blame the advertisers for trying to sell you their products. You can't blame the supermarkets for putting the fattening, appealing, sugar-laden things right in front of your eyes when you go in there. Take charge of your life in general, including your life connected to eating. And certainly most people who lead healthy lives, who have their bodies under good weight control, wouldn't change that for anything. Hope you'll take that advice. Hope you'll have some suggestions for some of the rest of us, because, again, 42% obesity in the United States is a significant problem, not because of it in itself, but because of the health problems that it provokes and is associated with. So until next time, stay healthy, stay safe. It's Dr. Ron Kaiser. Looking forward to talking with you again soon.